All right, so much information available when we're working with equations of parabolas. We're going to start just in making sure we can find the equation first, and then after we've mastered that, we're going to talk about all the different things that we can identify from the equation, and then also graphing parabolas. So we're going to have two types of parabolas. We have vertical, which means they open up or down, and let's not forget parabola is a U-shaped graph, right? So there's an example of it opening up. There's one that would open down. Then we also have, so those would be the vertical. The horizontal will look like this. Okay, so U-shaped, either opening up or down, left or right. So let's talk about vertical first. So the standard form of a parabola that is a vertical parabola, meaning it opens up or down, is going to be this. X minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. And what you see, again, we see hk. We saw that with the equation of a circle, so that's going to have some value to our graph. But what you might notice is that only x is squared on the vertical. Where circles, we had both x and y squared, correct? In parabolas, only one of the two variables will be squared. So vertical has to be the x that will be squared. And then for the horizontal, it's going to be the y. So it will be y minus k. That quantity squared equals 4p times x minus h. So we're going to rewrite this equation in standard form, and the standard form we're going to use is one where the h or the x in parentheses, that quantity is squared because we have x squared in this equation. Okay, so because we have x squared, that means we're going to be using that standard form. This is in factored form right here, so we can't factor this, so we're going to have to complete the square. Remember doing that for our circles so that we could rewrite them as a quantity squared. So that's what we're going to be doing for this these equations. So completing the square, we're going to want x on the left. Notice on the equation on the right, we have our quantity of x being squared is on the left, everything else is on the right. So we want to get just our x terms on the left, so that's x squared minus 4x. But I'm going to leave a blank because I know I have to complete the square for that x. That means that negative 4y and 12 have to get moved to the other side. So that would involve adding 4y and subtracting 12. I'm not going to show that step. I'm just going to show that I have now 4y minus 12 on the right, and I will have to add a value, whatever I use to complete the square there. So I added the 4y, subtracted the 12 over. That's how it's negative, or 4y minus 12 on the right. Okay, completing the square. Remember, when we complete the square, we're going to take b over 2 and then square it. And that's what goes in our blank there. And b is what's in front of x to the first. So in this case, it's a negative 2, or negative 4. So we're going to take a negative 4 over 2 and then square it. Negative 4 over 2 is a negative 2. Squared would be 4. So that's what we're adding to both sides. And now the left side of our equation can factor into something squared. And then the right side, we're going to have 4y minus 8, correct? Okay, So what goes in with the parentheses here? Who remembers when we complete the square? What goes in there? Whatever b over 2 is. So negative 4 over 2 is a negative 2, so that's what goes there. And then the very last step, notice on the right side here, we've got this is factored out as well. But it's going to be a little simpler factoring because we don't have to complete the square. What can we take out of 4y and a negative 8? 4. So we're just going to take a 4 out, and that's going to leave us with y minus 2 on the right. And then our left stays as it is, and there is the equation in standard form. Variable is being squared. That's the equation that you would go to where that is in parentheses being squared. So y squared is on the left here, so I know I'm going to be using this standard form on the right. Okay, so same rules apply. We're going to complete the square for y now because y is the variable being squared. And this is an example of a parabola that will open left or right. Okay, we'll get into that later. So completing the square, I've got to put all of my y terms together on the left. So that's y squared plus 8y. And I know I'm going to complete the square for that. So I'm going to add something there. And then I move the 8y and 18 over. That's going to make it a negative 8y and a negative 18 on the right side. Thank you. That would be a negative 2x minus 18. Felt like I had snowballs coming at me because, anyway. Good job. Good job. Way to catch it. Is everything good on that? Except for I need to add a blank. Good? Right. See, yeah, anyway. Good job. So I need to complete the square on the left. Tess, what does that involve? So 16 is going on both sides. Okay. And then factoring. Let's see, on the right, I get a negative 2x minus 2. Right? Correct? Let's see. Anna, what's going to go in parentheses here? Y plus 4. Where'd you get the 4? Whatever 8 over 2, b over 2 is, goes there. Okay, then the last step, notice on the right here, this is factored, so we need to factor on the right as well. And the left stays as it is. It's complete. The square is completed. How am I going to factor the right, Gabe? What am I going to do there? What can I take out of both of those? Oh, 2. Not just 2, but negative 2. Yep. If we have a negative, we can factor out. Because in parentheses that has to be a positive 1x. See here, it's a positive 1x, so we need to, whatever we have to divide by to get a positive 1x, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to divide each of those by a negative 2, so that's going to give me x plus 1. And there is the equation of our parabola that will open. Actually, this one's going to open left because of the 2 being negative, I believe. Okay, so we're going to want to put all of our x's or y's together, and x is on the other side. So that's y squared minus 4y plus a blank equals, see if I can get this right this time, 12x minus 64. Plus a blank. I 8 and Bob. I'm going to complete the square. What goes in that blank? 4. How did you get that? Okay, there we go. And now, sorry, that was, anyway. Negative 64, whoops, this is x, minus, or plus 4 would be negative 60. On the left, Zammy, what's going in parentheses here? Y minus 2, good. And then how are we going to change the right, Colton? What's the right going to look like now?
12 parentheses x minus 5.
x minus 5, because we get to take a 12 out of both of those. And that means P is what, Michael?
That would be 3.
3. Okay. But I need to have on the left and right now.
X squared plus 8x plus 3 equals CY plus 3.
Okay, Cameron, what do I do now? That goes there and there. Kaylee, what do I do now? What's going in parentheses there? Close. It's always what's half of that. So what do 8 over 2? 4. And then we have 16y plus 64, I heard somebody say, which is right. Yeah. Okay, so Logan, what do I do on the right here?
Pull out the 16. We'll give you 16 parentheses y plus 4.
Y plus 4. And that means P is 4 in this case. Okay. Let's do this.